here on Vibes Radio. The show is Season Second with me, Nazizi, the original Roots daughter.
And I am Rashidi KK Black Sus. The show is Season Second here on Vibes Radio.
Yeah, man, Nairobi are locked in 104.5, Mombasa 98.7, Nyeri 98.8, Eldoret 107.5.
And if you are on social media, we are Vibes Radio on Facebook, every other social media platform, Vibes Radio KE. On top of that, Lagan, stream us live, Rasta, www.vibesradio.co.ke, and make sure to hashtag Seize and Circle.
Yeah, man, and we are on the Stir It Up segment right now. As you know, every Monday, second hour, it's Stir It Up time. And in Stir It Up, we are discussing different issues. If you're a Season Circle fan, you already know we go deep into it.
Yeah, man.
Today, the topic we are talking about on Stir It Up is, why is it that African mythology is viewed as witchcraft, but Greek mythology isn't?
Yeah, man.
Yeah?
Yes, sir. First of all, the people that might have to understand mythology, Mythology in itself is a collection of myths, especially one belonging to a particular religion or cultural tradition, Rasta. So you see, in Africa, we have a lot of different cultures, but you can see the similarities in it, Rasta. Same thing in Europe, you can see the Greek, the Romans, all of them, they have different myths, but they have their similarities. Mm-hmm. But now the thing is, when it comes to African myths, Rasta, say for instance, in ancient times, Rasta, we had one who used to heal, Rasta.
Yes,
a healer.
A healer.
On top of that, we had one who used to pray for rain, Rasta.
The rainmakers. We still have them, by the way.
We still have them, Rasta.
Yes.
But at that moment in African tradition, when the whites came and they changed everything, Rasta, they depicted that as being witchcraft, Rasta, where even the healers themselves, the medicine that we use, Rasta, most of it is removed from plants which healers used back in the day for us to be able to get well.
Herbal remedies.
Yes, herbal remedies, Rasta. You can see that now we are diverting back to herbal remedies, Rasta.
Yeah, man. So a big part of the history with herbal medicines and everything was like deleted or put on pause because they felt like we didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah.
And the only way to heal was through modern, science and medicine, right?
Yes.
But now we can see even some hospitals or doctors will refer you to herbal stuff.
Herbal stuff.
I personally, my body works better with herbal medication.
Yeah.
So with my asthma and allergies and things like that, I would rather go and find a herbal doctor, and use the herbal medicine. It always works wonders for me. Yeah, more than the antibiotics and more than all these things.
And that's because, Rasta, you see, there's the man them called Sebi, Rasta. He said our bodies is filled with electrons. Our body is filled with minerals, Rasta. And you have to give the body the minerals it needs for it to be able to heal itself, Rasta. The body is always willing to heal itself, Rasta. And that has always been African mythology, where in African mythology, it is believed that humans have to live in harmony with nature, Rasta. But you see, the whole world, Rasta, Africa, you know what I mean? And that's what we are talking about, Rasta. If you don't know, you need to know, Rasta. We are talking about African mythology and why is it considered witchcraft alongside Greek mythology, Rasta. See, as we are talking about the whole world being Africa, Rasta, let's take a peek of the Luo mythology, Rasta, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Where they have Nyasai, who created Olo. Mm-hmm. And Olo had three sons. He had Shem, Rabudi, and Japhet. Shem was the white people. Rabudi was the black people, and Japhet was the brown people, the Asians, Arabs, and all of them. That was the Luo mythology, Rasta, which is mostly, if you go ahead and take a look at all mythologies in Africa, from Kikuyu, Luo to Kamba, we always have the main creator, the lesser gods, and then the spirits, but always it's the one main creator. You take a look at Greek mythology, you have Zeus. It's pretty much like a board of directors, Rasta. You have Zeus. You have Poseidon. Them people that gone ahead and made movies about, Rasta. You know what I mean?
And they never made any movies about our
Them never,
African myths.
none, never made a movie.
Well, they're
about
starting, but actually they're creating these myths. They're not even existent, like the Wakanda.
Yes.
They could have said like something that made more sense. I mean, I love it. I
Yeah.
love the whole concept.
Yeah.
But what if they actually took a word or a myth or a real African place
Yes.
and used it in the movie? But I feel like they would have been empowering us too much.
Yeah.
Hollywood felt like, no, we can't do that.
You know, this is the funny part. I actually, good thing you brought that up, Rasta. Just to mention around Rasta, you have in them movies, Rasta, when them did Wakanda, they had New York in it, they had London in it, them had all these places that really
Lord.
actually exist out there, but in Africa, they created a new place that does not exist. Wakanda. But
And
anyway,
awangesema tu Kenya.
yeah,
Wangekuwa wametumake famous
Rasta,
sana.
they
sio?
would have even said Nigeria, Rasta. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. But so if you just tuned in, we're discussing today on Stir It Up. Why is it that African mythology is viewed as witchcraft,
Yeah.
but Greek mythology isn't? And for me, what I think, right? I feel like they were very threatened.
Yeah.
When they came to Africa and then they saw how spiritual the
Yeah.
Africans really were. They were actually in touch.
Yeah.
They could bring rain. These guys were scared, and because they were trying to come and colonize us,
Yeah.
they had to take away our spirituality.
Yes.
Because, a lot of things, if you look at it, it's the spirituality that will keep the people going, yeah?
Yeah.
And so first they had to take away our gods and our myths before they could take away our land.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man, they had to come and teach us that, by the way, first of all, the way you're praising is wrong.
Yeah.
Second, this is not a god.
Yeah.
Who told you this is a god?
Yeah.
No, you must take the Bible. You must read the Bible. If it's not in the Bible, then you're doing witchcraft.
Yeah, man.
And for me, I feel like they were just trying to make us a weaker people, because people who don't have the history, who are not in touch with the spiritual
Yeah,
side,
yeah.
even with the ancestors, because in African culture, ancestors are such an important,
Yes.
there's the gods and
Yes.
there's the ancestors.
Yes.
The people who came before us, our bloodline.
Yeah, man.
Even when you were doing naming ceremonies, naming ceremonies was so important in African culture. You wouldn't just Uyu ni John. No, the kid was born, and sometimes it took 3 to 4 weeks because they wanted to see how does this child present themselves as. Do they come like a certain ancestor that we
Yeah.
had?
Yes.
And then name them accordingly. And in African culture, they really believe you are what you're named.
Yeah.
And I totally believe that, because they called me Ruth's daughter. That is the meaning of my name.
and they
Actual
call me
meaning.
Conqueror Rasta, and I do conquer Kaburu Rasta, you know what I mean?
See?
Yeah.
So in African culture, it was very important, these things. And I feel they had to label it as witchcraft,
Yeah.
as a negative thing, so that we could start moving away from it. Like, oh, we're not holy enough. Like, we're not following the
To a
blessed
point
book
when-
or the chosen book.
Even when they picked up the slaves, Rasta, and took us out, they made sure everybody's name got cut off, Rasta. Even with history, just as you're saying, even the naming ceremony, Rasta, was very important, because the name identified who you were and identified your culture, Rasta. It identified whom and where you were coming from, Rasta. So you can imagine somebody getting picked up from where he's from, knowing what he knows, being taken to a foreign land, Rasta. First off, no more Kaburu, my name is Johnson. Because now in the field, everybody's name is Johnson.
Yeah.
Because we are all owned by a man named
And your
Johnson.
second name is your master's, or the cotton field, or
Yeah.
the area where you come from.
Or the area you come from, Rasta. You know what I mean? That was very crucial for them doing that, because that cut off everything that we knew, Rasta, from our history, Rasta. And then without the roots, Rasta, they could not have. That's why you see right about now in the diaspora, a lot of people are talking about Africa. Let us look into Africa for spiritualism, Rasta, because they've come to understand that they are African.
And we even have, instead of Christmas, we have Kwanzaa.
We have Kwanzaa.
Yeah, the African Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah, man. And also there's a lot of talk about Kwanzaa not being African enough and all that.
Yeah.
But, guys, if you're listening right now, Stir It Up. We are discussing why is it that African mythology is viewed as witchcraft, but Greek mythology isn't. And we all know the Greek mythology is mad. If you see those
Yeah.
statues, even if you see some of those pictures,
Yeah.
it's crazy. So why do you think that did we allow it, or what happened? And we'll be discussing more of that when we come back on Stir It Up right here on Season Sekal.
Yes, sir. That's why Red, the love child, with Uprising here on Vibes Radio. The show is Season Sekal Rasta with I, Rashidi KK Black Jesus.
And me, Nazizi, the original Roots daughter.
And I have to say, definitely Rasta, as Wyre just said it, Rasta. This is an uprising. Season Sekala bring you an uprising because we are trying to understand why do they consider our traditions, Rasta,
and myths
as
witchcraft
to be witchcraft, Rasta. Can't understand, Rasta. Whereas them call even our thing black magic, Rasta.
Yeah, man, and I want to know who came over here and said, by the way, this is black magic, this is voodoo. Who classified it? What measurements did they use?
You know?
Who told them that the way we practice? Because as African, maybe we thought their Bible is voodoo.
Yeah, because to be honest, Rasta, you see the Yoruba people in West Africa, they are some of the most spiritual people who are still practicing their own old traditions till now. If you have been online, there was a picture trending of Rihanna with this outfit, like just Manila, where it was actually a depiction of a picture where usually there's a ceremony done in Ghana, where the Yoruba people dance to make sure they shy off the evil spirits and celebrate the good spirits that are coming. Rasta, you can't call that evil, Rasta, because that means it has been their tradition.
Well, I personally think it was only evil because they could not overstand it. They could not learn it as well.
Yeah.
Because you see some things, yeah, even in the African culture, it's passed on from different generations.
Yeah.
Like my great-grandfather would pass it on down and down and down.
Yeah.
And not everybody in the family would be able to learn. Like, for example, to be a rainmaker.
Yeah.
Not everybody in the family would become a rainmaker.
Yeah.
During the naming ceremony and stuff, people will tell you this guy is a future rainmaker. And
Yes.
then he'll grow up and he'll really be
a rainmaker.
So, you know, our ancestors, they had a type of knowledge that we have not tapped into, like we forgot about it.
Yeah.
We still have this power within us. Because let me tell you, in Uganda, they have this thing, you have to have the best rainmaker.
Yeah.
So if Bebe is performing, Chameleon is going to go and get the best rainmaker to send rain to Bebe Cool's concert. But then Bebe Cool will have this guy in the corner there who is his rainmaker, stopping the rain from the concert.
You know
I never used to believe this stuff
Yeah.
until I started going there, and I was like, man, this African culture is so deep.
Yes.
And there's so much like knowledge that wasn't passed on from generation because of slavery, because of, you know, people just let go of these myths and all these
Brainwashing.
culture. And yeah, they were brainwashed. And, you know, for me, I feel like we have to decolonize the African mind.
Yes.
Yeah. The ideologies we have now, we've been brainwashed totally, that we've even forgotten our culture, right?
Yeah.
For example, you will take your child for extra classes, French,
Yes.
Italian,
Yes.
Spanish, or my kid speaks fluent French. But will you ever pay for your child to go and learn Jaluo or, you know, Kikuyu?
Yeah.
You know, even as just a Kenyan from a different tribe, will you be proud to say, by the way, my child speaks 6 languages from Kenya?
Yeah.
No, because we've been brainwashed so
Brainwashed,
much
yeah.
that it only makes sense if my kid speaks French. So I'm going to take my kid for French classes or Spanish classes, and then my kid is going to be important. I'm like, honestly, I would rather you go teach your child African languages,
And
because
you know,
this is what we
The
need.
funny part is when you mention that, right about now in China, somewhere in a village, in a class, them learning Swahili wa mlambezi wa mnyonyezi Rasta.
Man, and let me tell you, this culture of every foreigner who comes now,
Yeah.
anafundishwa wa mlambezi wa mnyonyezi. Like,
Yeah.
I've never even said that word. This is the first time I'm saying it, because it's so annoying.
Yeah.
Because can't you teach this man something about your culture that
Yeah.
actually makes sense? I recently had someone walking down these corridors here saying, it's a greeting. Ati, he was teaching. The guy said, what is this you're telling me to say? It's a greeting like, what's up? It's
Yeah.
not a greeting like, what's up? The greeting is Mambo Barigani, how are you? Come on now. It's not Wamlambe.
That's right.
Yeah, man.
You
I
see,
mean,
most people them out there, they are trying to learn the African dialect, Rasta. They're trying to learn Swahili. They're trying to learn Gikuyu, they're trying to learn Luo Rasta. But us, ourselves, us as Africans Rasta, have I taken the initiative, Rasta, to learn a little bit of Nigerian Rasta, a little bit of Ghanaian Rasta? Yes, I most definitely. So we are trying to understand, why is it African mythology is tag-lined witchcraft, whereas Greek mythology is widely accepted, Rasta?
Yeah, man, and we want to hear from you. As you know, we are coming on to the Wagwan Hour, and we want to hear your feedback. You can write us on Facebook. Our Facebook page is
Vibes Radio. Every other social media platform, we are Vibes Radio KE.
Let us know, why do you think them call our thing black magic, and yet it is so powerful, and Africa is such a powerful place? Let us know.